Hello, welcome to Have Roots, Will Travel. My name is Lisa Elvin Staltari, and I am a genealogist and a passionate traveler. We are exploring Les Filles du Roi in this series that we've been looking at for the last year. We are currently on episode number 89. For those of you new to the channel, please have a look at Les Filles du Roi, the program 2.0. It will give you a good reference and a good starting point to understand what these ladies went through. Let's find out who our Lady of the Week is. So her name was Jacquette Michel, and she is a viewer request. Now, that being said, when I went and looked at her, and in my files, there's my best friend again. This is one of her great-grandmothers. And then I also found one of my dear friends from childhood who almost shares a birthday with me. And she knows who she is. This is her great-grandma, too. So Jacquette was born in 1637, a little bit older than some of the ladies that we've seen before. She was born on Ile de Ré, which is literally an island off the coast of La Rochelle. And she was born in a place called La Flotte, which we will explore in a minute. Her parents were Jacques Michel and Jeanne Dupont, and her husband was Jean Gardet. So she was married once before she came before. Let's explore where she was from. So as I've stated, it's an island off the Atlantic coast of France near La Rochelle. The island became English in 1154 when Eleanor of Aquitaine became Queen of England through her marriage with Henry Plantagenet. The island reverted to France in 1243 when Henry III returned it to Louis IX through a treaty. In 1360, however, with the Treaty of Brittany, Ile de Ré briefly became English again until the 1370s. So you can see this church is where she would have been baptized. And then I wanted to show you just how much of a seaport, and really, she was absolutely born next to the sea, if you will. And I've circled exactly on the island where she was from. It's kind of like the island in d'Orléans. They have different sections. So after both her husband and father die, she leaves for Canada as a fille du roi at the older age of 31 with a dowry of about £100. She is on the ship La Nouvelle France, and she arrives in Quebec City on July 3rd, 1668. Let's see who she selects and who selects her. So the groom's name is André Migné de Lagacé, and he was born about 1640, a couple of years younger than her. And guess what? He's born in Ile de Ré as well, but he's born in Saint-Martin. I can't believe it's that big an island, His parents were Michel Migné and Catherine Masson, so I'm suspecting that they knew each other. Let's talk a little bit about Saint-Martin-de-Ré, because it has a little bit different feel to it than the more placid La Flotte. Saint-Martin-de-Ré has a lot of fortifications reflecting how it was important to defend itself. During the Huguenot rebellions of the 1620s, the Cardinal Richelieu ordered that the island be fortified as a counterweight to the nearby Protestant city of La Rochelle, which is literally across the sea. This included a citadel at Saint-Martin. After La Rochelle had been subdued, Saint-Martin's fortifications were largely demolished to remove its potential threat to royal power. So it became a kind of a game, if you will. But some of those fortifications still exist. And now I just want to say, again, were they Protestants? Did they know each other? Again, don't know. I have to assume that the odds of them meeting in New France are, definitely low by coincidence. So we'll see. Now, he would arrive in New France in the Carignan Regiment on June 30th, 1665, with the Berthier Company. So he was there about 3 years before Jacquette. So André and Jacquette were married on the 23rd of October, 1668 in Quebec City, and this is their marriage record. Where did they settle? So André and Jacquette would settle in Charlebourg It is a very interesting place. It is one of the oldest locations in Quebec, and it is now part of Quebec City. But let's give you a little bit of a history of Charlebourg. And it began with the concession of the Seigneurie of Notre-Dame-des-Anges in 1626. The seigneurie extended from the Rivière Charles, the Charles River, northward, encompassing the modern boroughs of Charlebourg. In 1665, the new intendant of justice, Chantalon, set out to establish 3 new villages further north on the plateau. This caused friction with the Jesuits, who were the seigneurs of the town. The first of these villages consisted of a 25 arpents square, in which a 5 arpents square, le très carré they called it, was reserved for the church. And the homes of the settlers were located on the periphery of the très carré, the square, and the kind of the land grants formed a star shape. This is one of the most unique areas that Charlebourg is known for. And it's kind of visible from the air. You can see it kind of is like a star shape. So Charlebourg is first and foremost an agricultural area, in addition to becoming a vacation destination for the inhabitants of Quebec City in the first half of the 20th century, because it became urbanized in the second half and became a suburb. So now it's very, very kind of shishi-foo-foo, is what I call it. And it's like I said, in 2002, Charlebourg was in turn merged with other municipalities in Quebec City to form a new large city, and is now a borough of Quebec City. Its earlier name was Bourg Royal, but it was changed in honor of Charles Borromeo, the patron saint. This Catholic saint was a leading figure of the Counter-Reformation combat against the Protestant Reformation. An 18th century British map depicts the place name Charlebourg. Charlebourg. And it is a really remarkable place. You can see the church there. I found an older illustration on the internet. You can see on the map, I circled it, just kind of how it was laid out. Really, really interesting. It's on the top 10 list of the places I want to visit. And this is the 1681 census, where we have André and Jacquette listed. Their children, André, Marie, Françoise, another Marie, and Jacquette. They have 1 gun, 3 bêtes à cornes, and 15 arpents en valage. They have about 10 acres of land. So remember, I noted that Jacquette was a little older, but still 3 children. So we have André, who marries Françoise Ouellette and has 12 children, 9 of whom make it to adulthood. Marie married first Joseph Gravois and had 1 child. He made it to adulthood. And then married René Martin and had 9 children, all of whom make it to adulthood. Françoise married Robert Morin and had 9 children, 7 of whom made it to adulthood. Marianne married Philippe Boucher and had 12 children, 7 of whom made it to adulthood. Marie-Madeleine married Nicolas Claude Lisotte and had 2 children, and then she remarried Félix Aubert and had 7 children, 3 of whom made it to adulthood. And then finally, Michel married Angélique Thibault and had 10 children, 8 of whom make it to adulthood. Remarkable, remarkable. She passed away on the 28th of November, 1710. She is buried at Rivière-Well. She was 73 when she passed away, which in those years was a very, very older, age and fairly good longevity. When she passed away, they would have been married 42 years. Just remarkable. André would pass away for some time later, 19 years later. He actually dies February 4th, 1729, and he is buried at La Pocatière, which I assume means that in his elderly years, he probably went to live with one of his children. Remember the 3 resources I use consistently: La Société des Filles du Roi et Soldats du Carignan. It's a membership organization. Great website, lots of resources. If you're so inclined, joining is a fabulous opportunity for you to get that certificate and feel part of a community. Then we have Les Filles du Roi Descendants, which is a fabulous Facebook page. They have over 5,000 as I speak. And the third one is Migration, which is a remarkable website filled with information about Les Filles du Roi and the soldier, Les Coronets Regiment soldiers. Have a look at these three and see if it can help you. So Jacquette and André would end up having 80 descendants by 1729, which is remarkable given their age. And when I saw how old she was, which isn't that old, but she was an older mom, and being an older mom myself, I kind of related to her and her strength and her fortitude, and that she and André built a life together and were together for 42 years. It's just a remarkable feat, and can lay claim to being a pioneer of different places. And we want to thank her for her contribution and her sacrifice. And with that, I bid you adieu and au revoir until episode number 90. Au revoir.